Welcome back. I'm Adam Copeland, the host for this evening of Ghost Mine, Back on the Mountain. Joining us now are the real housewives of the Crescent Mine. Eddie's wife, Donna,
Hi.
Dingus's wife, Chantry, and Jay's wife, Kate, and their son, Ashton. Welcome back. It's got to get pretty lonely up at the Crescent, but you did have a visit from your families last season. Let's take a look. Ladies, the first question's for you. Is it a tough gig being a miner's wife?
It's extremely hard to be a miner's wife. They can go to work okay, and you can always get a call that they're not going to be home that night.
My husband works in different states all the time. If I don't get that phone call, it worries me.
Okay, on top of that, is it harder knowing that this particular mine could be haunted?
That's in the back of your mind. We know that the job itself is dangerous, but the paranormal stuff does bother you, and you do think about it. Probably more often than not, just because you hear about it and that's what's going on up there.
And it's not just the mine that seems to be haunted. Kate, you visited Sumter last year, and the bed and breakfast you were staying in experienced some remarkable paranormal activity. And we asked the fans, and it looks like they agree. A nightmare stay at a haunted bed and breakfast is one of the scariest moments of Ghost Mine Season 1. Let's relive some of that night. Kate, have you ever experienced anything before like that in your life?
No, never. And I truly hope I never do again. And in my case, it was also my child who was affected by that, and it was a terrifying experience.
That's right, Ashton, you were there. So what was it like from your perspective?
It was really scary. I mean, situations like that really make you question whether the whole town is safe. We weren't even the ones up at the mine. I mean, we're just the ones at the hotel.
Regarding the B&B, it's like that was even a turning point for Kristen and me. It's like we were brought here to investigate the Crescent Mine, and all of a sudden we have activity here in town.
Yeah, it no longer was an isolated location, and it became potentially more serious than we thought.
Well, this brings up another one of our online questions. Michelle from Tennessee asks, have you had any experiences at home after leaving the mine?
It's funny because you've been involved with this for so long up here. You go home kind of looking for small signs.
That is true. Noises will get you, and you'll catch yourself looking around for them, just from being up here, staying up here.
Well, I want to thank all of you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. There were many incidents like the B&B in Sumter that at first glance didn't appear to be connected to the Crescent Mine. Later on, though, all this activity started to look like interconnected pieces of the same puzzle. Take a look. Patrick and Kristen, what is up with this town?
That's a good question. It seems like the more research Patrick and I do, the deeper the mystery gets. And there's a lot of quartz in these mountains.
And the quartz is what these guys are looking for. That's where the gold's found.
Mm-hmm. And the theory is that quartz acts like a natural battery for paranormal energy. So the more quartz, the more potential you have for stored activity.
That does sound like a perfect recipe for paranormal activity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we return, the miners will tell us what the moment was like after all the hard work and disappointment to finally strike gold. As we prepare for Ghost Mine Season 2, stick around. Welcome back. I'm Adam Copeland, the host for this evening of Ghost Mine Back on the Mountain. Before the break, I was talking to paranormal investigators Patrick and Kristen about why they think the Crescent Mine was closed and abandoned over 80 years ago.
Well, we're never going to know for sure. We just won't, because all the records, they burned up in 1917. It could be that the Crescent Mine just dried up and the guys just moved on to a new location.
Let's be clear about one thing. In my opinion, when those miners left that mine, there was gold in it. And I honestly don't know of any miner that walk away from that kind of gold. They even put in bulkheads to keep people out. Maybe they did that to protect their gold. Maybe they intended to come back.
There's another possibility there that maybe someone or something scared these guys off. And they put those bulkheads in there to basically seal something in, and then they collapsed the mine to basically as a warning.
Generally, when a bulkhead's put up, it's to keep something out, not in.
Like we said earlier, we're trying to get closer to the answers, finding pieces to the puzzle.
Well, let's consider some of those pieces. I mean, Connie from Kentucky wants to know, what was the one moment that convinced you that there was really something there.
Well, I have to say, I was probably convinced when we were playing cards that night at the cook shack.
Yeah, that was spooky.
Well, you weren't alone in thinking that. The Cook Shack quake made the audience's list of Ghost Mine Season 1's scariest moments. So let's take a look. You had your very own localized earthquake.
That was no earthquake.
That was one of the freakiest things that happened up there. Being that loud, that scared the hell out of me.
Okay, well, given what happened, how do you not pack up and just leave right then and there?
It's simple. The gold's still there. We haven't got it yet.
You know, this is where the gold is. Nobody said it was going to be easy to get it.
Well, Dingus, it wasn't easy. I mean, you came close to a hospital visit. Bucket had to drag you out of there.
Yeah.
The audience has, in fact, chosen your health crisis as one of their scariest of Season 1. Let's take a look. You look grayer than Dick's beard. I mean, how did it feel to come under attack, you know, in the mountain that far, hours from medical attention?
Well, it's hard to explain it. I was able to think straight, but just not able to act upon it.
Now, that strange encounter happened in a hidden passage in the mine that you guys found late in the season. Patrick and Kristen, you were very nervous about opening up that passage. I mean, what were you nervous about?
We didn't know what was back there from a paranormal sense. And the energy seemed more threatening. And when these guys reopened that mine, it seemed to disturb that energy. We were getting spikes in our K2 all throughout that passage. Our oxygen levels mysteriously dropped. The energy felt different in there. It just felt oppressive.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a good feeling at all. But paranormally speaking, it was a gold mine.
At that point right there, that's where we found the hydrate.
That's right. I mean, the mine's dry for weeks, and then suddenly you've got color coming out of the rock. I mean, how did that feel to suddenly, you know, hit the jackpot?
That's what we worked, you know, that long and that hard for, and to see it finally come through is one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Okay, well, you found the gold, but you also found another piece of the paranormal puzzle. You found some artifacts that tie the tunnel to a possible secret society.
Yeah, we found some symbols that were Masonic, and one that we found on the bulkhead was the all-seeing eye. There's a higher power basically watching over and kind of protecting this area.
Yeah, we know Freemasons have been in Oregon for as long as there's been in Oregon. We also know that they held Masonic meetings in the town of Sumter, and that Masons actually own the Crescent Mine. The big question is, what were they doing there?
Well, when we come back, we'll try to answer that very question. More importantly, though, the wait is over, and we will be showing you an exclusive preview of the upcoming season of Ghost Mine. They just got back to Sumter, and you won't believe what they've already had to face. Plus, we'll look back at your final pick for the scariest moments of Season 1. It's just after the break, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Ghost Mine, back on the mountain. Now, we don't want you to get the idea that mining camps are all hard work. In fact, Judy from California wants to know, can we just come hang out at the end of the day around the campfire? Would like to hear the stories y'all tell of the day's work. So let's take a look at a never-before televised clip as Patrick brings his storytelling skills to a cold night on the mountain.
That was by far one of the worst stories I've ever heard in my life.
I enjoy it. There we go. Yeah, you guys have always challenged me to scare you, so.
And she always brings us s'mores, so I don't know what the deal is with you.
Yeah. I'm not giving you s'mores.
Bucky, how does it feel when you see that they're running subtitles under everything that you say? I mean, you are speaking English.
Well, at first I was a little upset about it, since everybody was making fun of me. I got thinking about it. I was like, finally, the whole world understands what I'm trying to say. I wish I had them for everyday life. You know, it'd be awesome.
What'd you just say?
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad you're cool with it, because we had a little fun online. We ran a clip of you, Bucket, simply talking, and we asked people to guess exactly what you were saying. Here's the clip.
You really do have a wife. I wasn't lying, I promise.
Yeah, I can serve as a translator sometimes if they don't understand what he's saying.
Hi, Stacey. What's been up to?
Let's tell the world now. What exactly did you say?
Hell, I watched it 4 times. I don't know what I said. What I really said was,
Oh, okay.
He's been your son.
Yeah. First time I ever met Bucket, I was sitting there listening to him talk, and I had to turn to Papa Smurf here and ask him what language this guy was speaking.
That's all right, Bucket. I always understand you.
Thanks, man.
Okay, well, all night long, we've been telling you about the moments you've chosen online as Ghost Mine's scariest. We've got one more to show. Take a look at your final pick. Kristen, that had to be easily your scariest moment.
Not being able to breathe like that. My instruments were telling me that the air was okay, but how I was feeling didn't match that. I just couldn't draw breath.
And you followed protocol. Can you tell people what the proper protocol on that is?
Well, it's to get out immediately. The priority is safety. It's like you don't risk someone's life over evidence. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
All right, sound advice and worth keeping in mind as we are about to begin a new season. A brand new year of Ghost Mine is about to begin, and we wanted to give you a taste of what these miners have experienced since their returns a few short weeks ago. Here now is an exclusive preview of Ghost Mine Season 2. There you have it. A new year with tantalizing new questions. What else is in the hidden mine portal? What other secrets could the mine contain? Does the activity you're tracking so far follow along those same lines as it did last season?
Well, actually, it's pretty incredible. Patrick and I are learning so much about the history of this area. The B&B, the mine, the activity we got there, I think, was just the tip of the iceberg.
What are we talking about here, the whole town?
No, we just don't know just yet. Everywhere we're going, we're finding activity, and it all seems to be tied together, and that all seems to be tied to the mine.
What kind of haunting could affect a whole region like that? Is it a curse?
We're determined to find out the cause of all the activity. I think people will find that the rich history of this area is playing a big role in its recent activity.
Okay, well, what do you think is happening in Sumter? Let us know on Twitter using #GhostMine. Season 2 of Ghost Mine is tonight. Stay right here. We are back again with Ghost Mine back on the mountain. Tonight, Sci-Fi is going to show you the premiere of Ghost Mine Season 2. But before we hand it off, I want to put the same question to you that we gave our fans a few days ago. What is the single scariest moment that you've experienced so far? And I'll ask our two investigators first.
Oh, mine was right back here in the dredge when I came face to face with that entity. I've been in there a couple times since then, and I just can't recreate it.
Mine would definitely be not being able to breathe. That will always be number one.
All right, miners, what do you say?
I would say losing consciousness in the tunnel. All right, waking up and seeing Bucket's face was a close second.
I'd say for me it was the bed and breakfast. That was pretty terrifying because it involved my family. You know, I had no control over that, and that was something I wasn't prepared for.
The scariest thing for me last year was getting to the mine and seeing these two get out of the car.
Well, your face wasn't that pretty either.
Eddie, you're still so skeptical, but here's a question posed by a viewer online. Terry from New Jersey wants to know, if you're still not a believer, after all that happened, what would it take to convince you?
You know, maybe if the ghost came right up to me and took the tools out of my hand, that would get my attention.
What about the rest of you? What's your scariest moment?
Yeah, working in the drift with Jamal, a wind come blowing by. That got my attention.
My scariest moment was finding Dingus at the back of the mine and passed out, and that look in his eye was just weird.
Well, Stan, last but certainly not least, what is the single scariest thing that you've seen here?
Well, I can't really say right now. It just happened to me recently, but you'll just have to keep watching to see it.
Well, we're going to be watching. Now, the wait's over. Season 2 of Ghost Mine is happening tonight. So be sure to join the conversations with others by using the #GhostMine and check out all the exclusive videos and photos at sci-fi.com. Well, I want to thank all the miners for their time, their families. I want to thank Patrick and Christian. Good luck out there.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy, everyone. Good night.
Yeah.